Thank you for joining today's webinar. We can get there together, transportation resources for brain injury survivors. Thank you for joining us. And my name is Rachel Ishak, and I am a community outreach specialist here at the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. And the Alliance is a nonprofit organization with a mission to provide education, awareness, prevention strategies, advocacy, and support for those who have been affected by brain injury. And so I'd like to announce that we will be hosting another webinar on January 26, 2023 on assistive technology. More details will be coming, but you can register by clicking on the link I just put in the chat. We also have some upcoming training opportunities, so please check out our website for more details for these. Now, just a couple of housekeeping notes before we begin the presentation. Attendees' microphones have been muted, so if you have any questions during today's webinar, please type them in the Q&A box, and we will get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. And the webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the BIANJ website afterwards. At the end of the webinar, a link for the post-webinar survey will be placed in the chat. We value your feedback, so you are encouraged to complete the survey. And you must complete the survey in order to receive a certificate of attendance for today. So once you complete that survey, you will automatically receive the certificate of attendance via email. And our presenters for today's webinar are Melody Bundy and Namika Parker. Melody Bundy is a program manager at NJTIP at Rutgers with over 10 years of experience in travel training. Most of their research initiatives target improving access to transportation for disadvantaged populations, including people with disabilities and older adults. Recent examples of their transportation equity focused projects include a pilot project funded by the Henry H. Kessler Foundation, Travel Instruction and Traumatic Brain Injury. The development and refining a comprehensive public transportation orientation and familiarization program that included a small group and one-on-one travel instruction to facilitate the employment of NJ adults living with TBI. Most of Ms. Bundy's work includes training individuals to use public transportation to become independent travelers. She also has experience as a trainer with community organizations and high school transition students, as her professional strengths focus on program curriculum development and implementation. She received her Master's of Public Administration degree in Nonprofit Management from Capella University and a bachelor degree in Economics from Seton Hall University. Ms. Bundy is on the board of directors for National Association of Travel Instructions. And then we have Namika Parker. She is the general manager of NJ Transit's Access Link Paratransit Division. And for over 2 decades, she has been actively involved in various functions in the passenger transportation industry. So now I'm pleased to welcome Melody Bundy and Namika Parker.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for the introduction. I'm Melody Bundy with NJTIP at Rutgers, and I'll begin first. So I've been working with NJTIP at Rutgers, I've been working with NJTIP since 2009. Prior to that, I worked in education, teaching special needs students how to, I was just teaching special needs students actually in high school, and then I transitioned to now working in the different things as Rachel mentioned. So NJTIP at Rutgers story. NJTIP at Rutgers is a part of the Edward J. Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy at Rutgers University. So NJTIP started as a pilot program from 2005 to 2007 with support by NJ Transit to see if teaching people with disabilities how to use public transportation, if they can use public transportation to complement their Access Link service. So that was a really successful program pilot. So it formed NJTIP Inc. So from 2007 to 2013, we were NJTIP Inc. providing travel training. And then from 2013 to 2022, we joined Rutgers University and we've been providing January. So this January will be 10 years that we have been at Rutgers University for NJTIP. Okay, so that is our travel training. And so all of the different accessible and fixed route mobility options that we're going to mention today, NJTIP travel training. A travel trainer could come out and work with you on how to use the local bus, the train and the rail, the interstate bus, and the light rail. Like I worked with a client in Hoboken that experienced a traumatic brain injury. She's a professional, and she felt as though having a traveling instructor show her the trip made it a little bit more comfortable for her, remembering when to get off of the bus, how to push the button, and her walk, so that she could be more comfortably, so that when she's doing her commute in and out of work, she felt a lot more comfortable. So some of the accessible features about the NJ Transit bus. So in the front of the bus, it does have a bike rack. So that's that picture on the left is a picture of the bike rack, which can be helpful. So that means you can use your bike to travel around, and then you could get on the bus. Also, the bus has a kneeling feature, meaning that the front of the bus kneels down. So your first step isn't as hard. And as travel instructors, we show you how to request the kneeling feature and how to be able to feel more comfortable advocating for yourself. This is a picture of the NJ Transit bus lift. The bus lift is helpful. You don't have to, like you see the young lady in the left, she does not have a mobility or a wheelchair. She does have a mobility device, but you don't have to have a mobility device or anything to request a lift on the bus. And 100% of NJ Transit buses are accessible, meaning that they would have this lift as well as the kneeling feature. And then you would just request a lift. And the steps will fall down, and then you'll be able to get on the bus without having to climb up the steps. Then you just let the bus driver know your destination, and then continue from there. And as travel instructors, we help you. We come out with you your first time or a couple of times to make sure that you're comfortable requesting a lift and using the lift and then boarding the bus. So I hope we all know you have to make sure that you hail the bus. So when you're at the bus stop, you got to make sure that you hail the bus by reaching out to hail the bus to let the bus driver know that you want the next bus. If you're at a bus stop, sometimes it could be multiple buses at that stop. So the bus driver might not know if you want their bus specifically. Also, it could be a case where you're just standing at the bus stop. So that's why it's important that we reach out our arm to hail the bus to make sure that the bus driver knows that you want that bus. Continue. Another thing about using public transportation that we as travel instructors make sure that you learn is about paying your fare. So you could pay your fare with exact change. Using the fare box, you would just slide in your exact change because most of the buses that go local buses do not provide any change. So you would just be given a donation to New Jersey Transit if you paid extra. So that's why it's important that you have exact change. We'll see a little bit later about trip planning and how you could plan the trip, or how we'll show you how to plan a trip to know exactly how much your fare would be on the bus. Also, on the left, you could pay with tickets or buses. So you could just get a ticket, a one-way ticket, or you could get a monthly bus pass that you could use, or you also could use the NJ Transit app as another way to pay your fare. When you're paying with the NJ Transit app, you can actually just scan your phone, and the bus operator will be able to see that you have paid for your fare. Then when it's time to get off, you just have to make sure you push the signal, the yellow signal. Sometimes some of the buses that go in and out of New York, it might be the button above your head. So making sure as travel instructors, when we first get on the bus with the vehicle, with a client, we make sure we show where exactly you have to, what button or where the button is closest to us so that we can request our stop. And that's just to let the bus driver know when our stop is next. Also, what I've trained clients to do is when you get on the bus, you want to tell the bus driver your destination, but you also can ask them, can you let me know when I get there? Also, when you're on the bus, you might want to sit closer towards the front of the bus so that you can see whichever landmarks so that you can know that you're getting close to your stop as well. Sometimes people feel a little bit nervous about pushing the button. You can always, if you're sitting close to the bus driver, you can inform them as well that, oh, my stop is next. Can I have the next stop also so that you can be able to depart the bus. So the other one, so I have a quick question for you all. Do you know, are all of NJ Transit rail stations accessible? So you could put it in the QA or the chat if you have. Do you think all of NJ Transit's rail stations are accessible? So we found out that 100% of the buses are accessible, but what about the rail? Just like a quick quiz or one question, make sure you all are paying attention here. So the rails, so about half of NJ Transit stations are accessible. Some of the accessible features you'll see is the bridge plate. So that's that picture on the left, and it bridges the gap between the platform and the train so that their mobility device doesn't get stuck in the gap between the train and the platform. You also can use that if you have issues with walking over gaps. You can also request a bridge plate as well. The picture in the middle is just a picture of a train station, which is a picture of Roselle Park, and it's a picture of the bridge plate. So you can see what that box looks like that you can that you would stand by, or your mobility device would be by, so that the train operator knows that you need to use the bridge plate. And then when you get to the destination, then there'll be another bridge plate at your destination if needed. Then you'll see on the different train cars, which train cars are accessible with the accessibility signal. So just a reminder, so the answer to a question, so about half of NJ Transit stations are accessible, not all of them. So NJ Transit rail map. So this is just a picture of the rail map. And on the map, if you zoom into which area you might, or whichever train line you use, you could see the accessible symbol right next to the train station. And then that can be an indication for you to know if that is an accessible station. Also, when you're taking the train, you would check the departure vision screen to find out, make sure if the train is still departing at that same time, which track you need to go to, and then whatever the train line is. And some stations, they have different monitors that you could check so that you can make sure that you're at the right track. They also, their apps, NJ Transit also has the app where you also could see the departure vision, and it's the same screen so that you could just look on your phone. And we find that a little bit helpful for some clients so that they don't have to be in a big crowd to see the departure vision screen at the station. Instead, you could just see it right on your phone. Okay, and so the steps for riding the train. So first these are the steps that a travel instructor will go over with you. So some people might learn how to use the bus, some people learn how to use a train, some will use a combination, but depending on where your destination would be, we would show you how to check the schedule, purchase your ticket, make sure you get a receipt or your change from the ticket vending machine, how to check the departure vision screen, listen for announcements. We also show you how to wait for our train, having our ticket ready, and listen out for our stops, and how to watch our step as we get off to make sure that we're safely getting off of the train. Okay, and then another accessible mode of transportation that NJ Transit provides is the light rail. There are 3 light rail stations. Most of the stations are accessible. So there is the Hudson Bergen light rail, which is 100% accessible. That's available in Hudson County and North Bergen. Then there's the North Light Rail. Most of those stations are accessible. It used to be called the North Subway, so some of their stations were built before 1990, so that's why not all their stations are accessible. So that's around the North Bloomfield Belleville area. And then in South Jersey, there is the River Line, which is 100% accessible, which is in Burlington County and Camden County, which you could use to get around as well. The big highlight we always want to make sure people remember about using the light rail is to make sure you validate your ticket. So I would say the light rail is more of an honor system because there is a conductor that's driving the light rail, but the only time they check to make sure you purchased and validated your ticket is when a fare enforcement officer comes. Now, if you don't validate your ticket, it could be between a $75 to $100 fine. You might have to go to court. So we always remind people to make sure when you're using your light rail to make sure you validate the ticket right before you're going to get on the light rail. So another more form of transportation or a transportation resource is the Transportation Management Association, also called TMA'S. So they have ride pools and carpools, they have shuttle services, and they are a way to connect you to different modes of transportation. So we just have some of their logos here. So they are throughout New Jersey. One that is, and based on whichever county that you're in. So like if you're in Middlesex, you might use KMM, Keep Middlesex Moving. And Mercer, you use Greater Mercer, TMA. But yeah, you based on which one, and they could let you know about different ride pools and shuttle service. And Easy Ride, they have a service where they would, you don't have to have a smartphone, or even if you do have a smartphone, they're like a concierge for Uber and Lyft for people. So that's another service that these different transportation management associations provide. Also, there is community transportation, or each county, they have their own paratransit. You'll learn a little bit more about NJ Transit's paratransit, but each county has their own paratransit. So you could contact your county to find out. Most of the time, it's available for people with disability and older adults that can use it. And then the fare is mostly by donation. And then they can let you know the process of getting eligible for the county paratransit when you call your county transportation services. Also, sometimes different towns and municipals, they have their own, like in Passaic County and Passaic and Clifton, they provide their own transportation. So those residents would just use those specific transportations, or like Montclair for older adults, they could use their Montclair transportation services that could provide transportation. So the next thing we wanted to talk about is trip planning. So there's different ways that you could plan your trip. You could use njtransit.com, MyBus, Google Maps, the Transit app, and the NJ Transit app. So this is just a snippet of the njtransit.com, their website, and you can use it to go to different destinations, which could be helpful. You could also download the Transit app. So it's this sideways S or sideways snake with the green signal. That's another helpful app, because you could just push on the app And then right where you are, if your location is on, it can tell you exactly how to get to your destination, as well as it could let you know how many minutes away your ride is, or your bus, or your train, or your light rail would be. So that's really helpful for people. And then the next app that we'll talk about is the NJ Transit app. So the NJ Transit app is a place where you can buy your tickets. You can buy your tickets and then you just show it. You could get a one-way ticket, a round trip, a monthly pass right on the NJ Transit app, and then you would just show your phone. They also have that departure vision, like I mentioned earlier, and you could just have it right on your phone. My Bus, which lets you know how full a bus is and some more details, which I'm going to show you shortly. And then there are schedules also you can access, and even more things you can access. I know it's a lot that we're giving you, but NJTIP is available for travel training, and we'll be able to like slow it down just a little bit. But this is a short video of the NJ Transit My Bus, how you use it, the app, and use the My Bus feature. So you get the NJ Transit app for free from your Play Store or your App Store. Then if you're at a bus stop, you could type in your stop ID. So that's right on the bus stop sign. It has a stop ID. Each bus stop has their own stop ID. So you would type in your stop ID, or you could just search from the routes, and you would search whatever bus route you want to go to. And then this will let you know. So right here, right here, it has your bus number. So at that stop ID that we put in, it's multiple different buses that stop there. So you would look for your bus specifically. You could see that it tells you on the right how full the bus is. That can be helpful also if you're not good with big crowds. You want to make sure that it's a light. If it's yellow, that means it's medium full. And then if it's red, that means it's really full. So that could be helpful as well, that we let people know as another thing. Also on the transit app or the NJ Transit app, you can see how close your bus is to where you are. So that could be a little bit of helpful reassurance to know, because sometimes buses get in traffic and different things like that. So you have the countdown clock, as well as you can actually see on the map when the bus is moving and see how close it is to your stop and how soon it will be arriving. So all these things could be very helpful for you when you're at the bus stop. Also, you can see when the next one is coming. So if maybe you can't make the first 8:14 that's coming in 5 minutes, you could see that another 8:14 is coming in 14 minutes. Also, it depends on which direction you're going to. If you need to go to Middlesex County College, or if you need to go to a different destination, to make sure that you're getting on the right bus. And then it just shows you all of the different stops that the bus will be making along the way. Those are all those little dots. So if you needed to meet someone along the way, you could tell them another stop that the bus goes another location. And then you could just go home, and that is the My Bus feature. Another thing that we like to make sure people are aware of is that there is a 50% discount on fixed route fares. So that is the NJ Transit bus, train, and light rail. You could get 50% off. Access Link customers, they get the reduced fare ID. And also, it's also available to seniors age 62 and over and people with disability. You also can apply and get the reduced fare application or card as well if you apply, so that can be helpful. And you'll see where it says Access Link with PCA. So that means that you're an Access Link rider and that you have a personal care attendant that will be traveling with you. So I'm gonna pause, and I'll give this opportunity to transfer over to Namika so she could talk more about NJ Transit and Access Link and the new great things that they have going on. And then towards the end, we'll answer all your questions that you have. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I always learn something every time I do one of these events with NJTIPs. Let me just pull up my presentation, making sure I'm pulling up the right one this time. So can everyone see my screen? Access Link presented by Namika Parker. I am the General Manager of Access Link. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here to talk about transportation. I've been in transportation pretty much my whole career. And to me, this is what transportation is. It's all of these options. And I think our goal is to make these options a reality for all the residents. So whether that's light rail, bus, minibus, paratransit, rideshare, taxis, and now all the other micromobility options like scooters and e-bikes and things like that. That's how we approach the conversation of transportation, learning about the rider's complete journey. So we try to support you in every way we can. So here's a brief overview of Access Link for anyone that's unfamiliar with us. The ADA law was passed in 1990. Access Link was established in 1993. We shadow local fixed route bus service, and we only go right now 3/4 of a mile from that bus route. You have to be certified in order to use the service. The fare is comparable to our local fixed route bus fares. We say origin to destination. A lot of places use door to door or curb to curb. Ours is a little more specific because we do make reasonable modifications to that drop off. So, and our group, this division is comprised of about 8 different departments. We have 5 regions in the state of New Jersey. So we cover 18 of the 21 counties. And right now we have 2 service providers. So it's like the little engine that could. Today, I want to kind of focus on some of the technology that we've been rolling out, testing, and using, and some of the initiatives that we currently support in our little small group. So for the tech side, our accessibilities page, our Access Link online website, and our mobile app. Conversational AI or artificial intelligence, we're doing a pilot, trip brokerage, TNCs, and then lastly, the digital reservation form. And then as far as initiatives, the accessibilities forum, Mobility Matters series, Access to Access Link initiative, NAVRA or the National Voter Registration Act, and then Magnus Mode. So pictured here is a screenshot of the refreshed New Jersey Transit accessibilities page. There's a great deal of new information and resources here. It was redesigned to be simpler. So before it was a vast list of information where you would just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until you hopefully stumbled upon what you were looking for. Now you'll notice bright big buttons with important information highlighted. They have accessibility videos for each of the modes. They've included some language options as well, which is very important. And you'll notice that Access Link is button 1 and 2. So Access Link information takes you to our page where we put a lot of information about the program, how to get certified, and contact information. And then Access Link online, that button will take you to the Access Link website. So the next thing I want to kind of point out is that our website and our tech tools will be getting a little revamped, but just to kind of go over what it does currently, you can manage your account, you can view your rides, you can book rides, you can view subscription trips or your regular rides that some of our customers have. So if you're going to work or the doctor routinely, You don't have to call and schedule it. It's automatically scheduled for the same time, same day, same price, same amount of people. So it's a standing order. You can manage your Easy Wallet account, which is our version of electronic payment. So you don't have to use cash. That was super helpful for a lot of our customers. You can get general information. You can send us feedback, and you can access our manuals and brochures. So for each thing that we create or launch, we try to create some useful reference material, and we leave it there for customers to go to and use and print and save. So take note that the first two buttons, again, are for access link. That was a huge thing for me. Just trying to make it easier for our customers to find us. So next, I want to talk a little bit about this. I'm not going to be adventurous and try to play the video, but I will, make it available for anyone that's interested in watching it. But this is a screenshot of the conversational AI, or it's called the thinking machine. So currently, a lot of a barrier to use the technology is that people feel like it's robotic. They're not interacting with a human or a person, and it's a learning curve to using it. So this pilot that we're running right now kind of reduces that barrier to this technology. So it's more of a conversation. The computer or the system is asking you questions, and you can reply as if you were having a conversation. So you don't have to be programmed or have to learn the cheat code to get it to work. So some IVRs, you'll have to say yes, and it has to be a perfect sounding yes. This one, you can say things like mm-hmm or uh-huh, and it'll pick up on tone and intent. So we thought for some of our customers that have language barriers or communication challenges, that this would be really helpful. The other thing that it does is after you have an interaction with it, it will text you or, give you some confirmation of it. Right now, what we have, the system will do whatever you needed to do as far as cancel and status, but you have to go and check. And a lot of customers are now doing that there. So it's not reducing time for them. So we're trying to find systems that really make the customer feel more connected to what they're trying to get done. Let's see. Also, I want to say that this unique to this as well is that the more you use it, the more the customers use it, the better it gets. So it learns from those things that annoy the customer, and they give us feedback on that. So the more the customer use it, the better it gets, which is really key to inclusive and adaptive technology. And that's really unique to Access Link. The user is always going to be the expert on how they're going to use the tech. So even though we try to include customer feedback in our plans and design, we know that there's going to be some uses that we haven't thought of. And that's where this would help us kind of capture all the feedback. So next here are logos of different TNC partners, and TNC stands for Transportation excuse me, Network Companies. So that would be Uber, Lyft, and these other two you might not be familiar with, Userve and Via. Userve is really a special TNC because they specifically cater to paratransit customers. The other modes of transit, or right here pictured, they not necessarily focus on our specific market, paratransit, and that's for people with disabilities. So that's why we are looking to partner with Userve. We're going to start, I think, working with them and providing them trips come the new year. Still working out a couple of licensing things. So, but we're optimistic that we'll get that finished within the next few weeks or so. So these type of companies will allow us to infuse our network with many provider options, not just the standard one or two providers that we currently have. There are customers that Melanie mentioned or referred to that can't really travel in large groups. So these would be unique in that they are smaller. Typically, they don't share a ride, so the trip is more inclined to be like if you were riding or you were using these things on your own. The luxury of it is that we would be calling the service for you. So you pay your same fare that you would using public transit, and you still get the benefit of riding alone or in a smaller group if you're traveling with someone. So the other appeal to this is that these companies have more advanced technologies than state agencies tend to have. So that's in communicating trip information. So some of our customers have expressed that they need notifications for the whole journey to confirm the ride, to remind them of the ride, to let them know when the driver is coming, and then to let them know when they are arriving to their destination. And these companies do offer some of those customizations. So I have a tendency to scroll through too many slides, so I'm purposely just scrolling, clicking the button once. Here is a screenshot of our new digital reservation form. So it's very similar to filling out an online form or a survey. It could be done on a computer, an iPad, your smartphone. We launched this a few months ago. This was created by our call center group. When we launched the website, we thought that a lot of customers would just naturally transition from calling on the telephone to using the website, but we saw that that didn't happen. So the call center group got together and created this as a nice middle ground. So the beauty of this is you don't have to wait to any certain particular hour to send it. So like if you're calling on the phone, you have to call between 7:30 and 4. This, you can send this whenever, and it goes to our senior reservations team. So you send in your trip request, they will book the trip for you. So if there's any issues or anything that's not correct, they'll give you a call and, kind of figure out what needs to be changed. If there is any issues with your times, they'll give you a call. So you have the comfort of working with the agent without the hassle of having to hold on or be confined to those hours. I do want to mention that we created this and tested this with customers. So we got information from the Citizen Advisory Committee. We worked with members of the Federation for the Blind of New Jersey and a small group of other Access Link customers. Their feedback, again, was vital to the process. And I think collaboration between the end user and the agency is really critical. Let's see. Next, I do want to take a moment to kind of highlight the accessibilities forum that New Jersey Transit they've been hosting. The first one they had was in June. You got a chance to hear from all the different departments to kind of talk about how they infuse accessibilities into their work. So it was planning, of course, Access Link, rail, bus, light rail. Again, it was about maybe 10 to 15 different groups. And we got a chance to hear from the public about different issues that they wanted answers on and, wanted to engage us with information about. So they're having another one this week. If you do get a chance, I suggest, tune in, offer input and comment. It definitely makes the process better when we have information from the people who are actually using the service or who can't use the service, and we hear about why they can't use the service. That's really helpful as well. So again, shameless plug. So here, another highlight from the accessibilities page that I referenced earlier are our Mobility Matters web series videos. So this is content that we at Access Link created, hosted, most of the time presented at, and we posted it to our website. So, and now our YouTube channel, New Jersey Transit's YouTube channel. So if you go to the accessibilities page and you scroll down a little bit, you'll see accessibilities forum, and those are the videos that we recorded about different topics. So as you can see, travel training, fares, deals, and discounts. We did a tech talk where we kind of highlighted all the technology that New Jersey Transit uses and how it interfaces with New Jersey Transit's app. So Melody showed a picture, a screenshot of the Transit app. If you scroll all the way to the bottom and all the way to the right, there's a ellipsis button, and that's where we're hiding at Access Link. You can press that button and it'll take you to Access Link online. So we're not fully integrated with New Jersey Transit's mobile app yet, but we are working on smoothing out that integration. Let's see. So the ultimate goal of this web series that we created is to kind of create content for a variety of useful topics. So things like boarding our Access Link bus, what that process is like, using the website, using the mobile app, making a reservation on a telephone or with the other different tools that we offer, and just reference material for the customer, their support network, and caregivers. And lastly, I want to just touch on a couple of things here. Access to Access Link pictured at the top. That's the logo for this fairly new initiative that we have. It's a smaller outreach effort, so it's more localized interactions to educate the public on all things Access Link. We just started it this year with our new Director of Customer Experience. So we're hoping to kind of keep that going to where people don't feel like they have a huge hurdle to even apply for Access Link. Like, what is Access Link? That is the goal there. Next, bottom left, the voter registration button. That's if you press that button from the accessibilities page, it'll take you to our page that we created for voter registration information and how Access Link, we are a part of that now. So we partnered with a couple of local organizations, Access New Jersey and Catholic Community Charities. They helped us assemble over 40,000 voter registration opportunity forms. And to assist with this, we also enhanced and adjusted our telephone systems so that customers and callers can call us to get information on this process. We want to make sure that our customers exercise their right to vote, and especially since we cater to people with disabilities and seniors, and they often have more challenges in exercising that right. And lastly, the bottom right is a picture of Magnus mode in the orange button and a screenshot of the video that is on the website if you press that button. So Magnus mode, they created these things called Magnus cards. It's a digital life skill app with guides to help autistic and neurodiverse people perform everyday activities. And one of those activities is transportation. So this year, New Jersey Transit partnered with this company, and I believe they created a slide deck. That's what they call it. So it's different cards of information, step by step on how to ride the train. It went so well that they are now creating another one for, I believe, the bus route. So hopefully someone will get a chance to kind of use this. I signed up for it. I went on, logged in. I absolutely love it. I love that it gives people who need that extra bit of support to navigate the world, that support in their hand. So it's a super exciting product. And the story about the person who created it is really interesting. So I do encourage you to go to that new accessibilities page and just kind of look around and see what other information is on there. And I do want to note that so you can find this information on the accessibilities page. And if you want information about Access to Access Link, that would be me as a point of contact. So lastly, I just want to say we are always looking to partner with educators, caregivers, other stakeholders. We want to enhance our content creation and utilize this new tool that we have of YouTube fully. So another thing is our customer forums are going to be this spring. That's when we kind of try to talk about what we're working on, how we're addressing problems, and we give the customer a chance to kind of just talk to us. And we just make ourselves available. And lastly, if you would like someone to come out and talk about accessibilities of the transit modes or Access Link, please reach out. We have an outreach department, and they pull they schedule a bus or light rail or whatever it is that they need to kind of make the experience more lifelike and in real life, connected to what you're going to be riding. And we always want to make public transportation a real option for everyone. And thank you for your time and attention. And that is it for me. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Melody and Namika, for that great informative presentation. And before we turn to some of the questions that we have, I just want to mention that on our website, we do have a resource that shows all the different transportation options available in the various counties. We're going to put a link to this in the chat, but if you do go to our website under resources, you'll see the tab I have a brain injury. And if you scroll down under fact sheets, you'll see transportation for people with brain injuries. So you can find that resource there, but we also put a link to it in the chat. So please feel free to click on that, save that, and it has clickable links that you can access. So you've been asking about some different transportation management options in your counties and things like that, and it has it all listed by counties. So please utilize that resource. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. And now we are going to take some questions. So I'm going to start at the top here. And Melody, this question came up during your presentation. How can somebody access the TIP travel training resources, and what counties do you serve for that?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. So they can reach out to us on our website. It's btc.rutgers.edu. That I think someone can put our email or our website in the chat. As well as the counties that we serve, we are statewide for online and virtual trainings. And some of the northern counties we don't currently serve in person, but we can always figure out something. And that's Sussex and Warren County, which I think we got a message about. And then some other southern counties, but we have done work in those areas. So you always can still reach out to us, and then we could see what we could do or maybe how we can work together. And then I'll also add my email address, or someone will add my email address to the chat. And then you can always email me as well as an option.
I do want to add to that. So some of these new partnerships that we're trying to foster with the transportation networks and everything like that, we're hoping that that will allow us to expand into these counties, because I see some of the questions were about, do we go to Sussex, Warren, and other places? So that is definitely on the horizon coming for Access Link.
Okay, great. I think we killed a couple birds with one stone in that answer. So wonderful. And then I think you might not have mentioned this, Melody, so just want to ask again, is the travel training a one-time service, or is it ongoing, or how does that kind of work?
It's ongoing. If I could share my video, that was like my next slide if we had time.
Yeah, sure.
And since we have a lot of questions, I'll just share my video. Sorry, not there anymore. So this is about travel training.
Hi, I'm Karen Alexander, the Managing Director
Can you hear
of
it?
NJTIP at Rutgers, the New Jersey Travel Independence Program. NJTIP at Rutgers teaches people with disabilities and older adults how to use public transportation. Our mission is to increase the self-sufficiency of people by empowering them to use public transportation safely and independently.
I am so delighted, I'm happy. The lady Tip at Rutgers, she is the one that gave me this boldness to ask for your training. I'm not shy anymore. I requested immediately, and they give it to me.
Participants will learn, among others, how to read schedules, plan their trips, pay their fares, taught by seasoned professionals in a one-on-one environment or small groups. During the one-on-one training, the instructor will ride along with the participant, guiding them until they are confident to travel independently. The small groups participate in class activities and escorted transit trips to popular local destinations, such as the mall, museums, and downtown centers.
New Jersey Transit, the NJTIP program, changed the lives of many seniors here in Westwood, but for me personally, it made such a huge difference. I'm a big chicken. I don't like to travel anywhere by myself. And I had gone on the NJTIP training with seniors from Westwood. And the next day, for the first time, I traveled by train to go to Hoboken to babysit for my grandson. It made all the difference in the world. I knew what I was supposed to be doing because of the NJTIP program. So thank you.
Upon completion, participants feel empowered to travel on public transit safely and independently.
Well, the training has taught me how to be more confident. It gives me the spirit, to want to go out and do things more. And I don't have to depend on someone to pick me up and come back and get me. And because seniors like to be independent.
So yeah, and then to answer your question, yeah, so you could either do one trip to learn a trip if like some experience of transportation, or we could do multiple, but we just like to make sure that they're growing or learning our 30 skill sets as long as they're progressing in their travel training. But yeah.
Great, thank you so much for that, Melody.
Mhm.
And then we have a question here. Where would the members sign up for the reduced fare and access link transportation? Either
Oh,
of you
let me
could
keep
take
you
that.
on mute.
So if you're applying for Access Link, you can do that with one application. So every Access Link certified rider gets a reduced fare card. If you just want the reduced fare card, you can go to that department, and I can put that information in the chat if you like. But yeah, so you have two options.
And with that, is it only online that you can do that, or can you do it by phone or paper?
I believe so for Access Link, we created a virtual, because before the pandemic, we would schedule them a ride to an assessment center, and they would go through the process that way. But we did create an electronic form, so if you want, you can reach out to the certification group, and they'll walk you through that part. It's a little easier. It's streamlined, definitely.
Great, thank you. Let's see what else we have here. So this was regarding Access Link. They were wondering which counties weren't covered, but also what exactly does it mean origin to destination?
So we don't go to Sussex, Warren, or Hunterdon right now. And like I said, we are trying to figure out how to coordinate those efforts better, because we do hear from customers that they want to go beyond, where we travel, and we just aren't in a position to extend that just yet. And the other question was, what does origin and destination mean? So, like I said, we do have customers where we have to go beyond the curb and sometimes beyond the door. So our way to kind of make it more general is that it's origin to destination, and we look at the trip. So again, that whole complete journey, we try to accommodate the customers where they need us to. So yeah.
Okay, great.
And then one other thing. So in Sussex and Warren County, they could connect with the transportation management company Avenues in Motion. That's another, in addition to like in Sussex County, the Skylands Ride, they could connect with Avenues in Motion. That's the Transportation Management Association up there.
Perfect, thank you. Let's see. There was a question about how to apply for a discount card for a personal assistant if they wanted to have them ride the train with you. Do you have to have your own discount card first, and how would that work for getting one for the personal assistant?
Well, usually the personal assistant is only riding because they're helping you. So they come, the person would have to get that designation on your card. So whatever you put on your application will let the reduced fare card people or even Access Link know that you need someone to travel with you when you take these trips. So it's very specific to the person. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Looking here if there's any other questions. There were a couple comments here, which I highlight as well. Some people have said that they've reached out to their local CIL or SIL program to have some assistance with getting connected to these services. And also here at the Brain Injury Alliance, if you had questions about getting connected to some of these services, we could help you too. So if you called our helpline, they would be able to point you in the right direction. So those are good options as well. We have another question that just came in. The TNC partners with Access Link, i.e. Uber and Lyft, are they accessible for people using wheelchairs, such as lockdowns and lifts? Do you know if they're accessible?
So that's one of the reasons why it's been taking us so long to kind of enter that space. So you hear about a lot of other states, oh, they have Uber, they have Lyft, they're using all these different things. Why aren't you guys doing it? Because we really wanted to make sure we include all our customers. So the ones that we are partnering with will have to have some what they call WAVE vehicles, wheelchair accessible vehicles in their fleet mix. So yes.
Somebody's asking about the YouTube link for the forum. They're not quite sure how to access it. So maybe I'll just reach out to that person afterwards and we can provide them the direct link and walk through that with them after. Somebody's asking again about the application process for Access Link. I think we mentioned that already, but if we could just reiterate, can you do it by phone or by paper?
So I was going to put that in the chat. So I
Okay.
I usually direct them to talk to the certification staff because they usually have more questions other than just how to apply. It's usually like, what do I need? How long does it take? So I was going to put the contact number in the chat. I think it's more helpful to just have that interaction with the staff. So yeah, in the chat it is.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then somebody's asking if there's any help for people specifically with visual impairments.
NJTIP currently doesn't, but we could connect them to CBVI, the Commission for the Visually Impaired, to be able to assist them. And we have partnered with them to assist as well.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions that weren't answered? We have about 1 more minute. Just want to make sure that everybody was able to get their questions answered. Okay, I think that is all. So thank you again for sharing with us today. If you didn't have your question answered, please reach out to me. I will put my email in the chat. So send me any more questions that you might have and I'll be able to answer you directly through email. And one final reminder to please complete the post-webinar survey. The link for that is found in the chat right now. We do value your feedback, so please complete it. And if you are looking for a certificate of attendance, you need to complete that as well. So thank you again for all of your questions and comments, and we hope to see you at the January 26th webinar on different assistive technology resources. So this concludes today's webinar. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank
See you in January. I'm signing up.
Bye.